Hey story lovers, welcome back to Ryger Gaming. Today we're diving into the full story of the legendary Ghost of Yotei, a tale of mystery, betrayal and revenge that will keep you on the edge of your seat. From hidden secrets to deadly encounters, we'll uncover every twist and turn in this video. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video with your friends so they can join the adventure too. Alright, let's jump into the haunting world of Yotei. Chapter 1. The Night of Fire. The story begins with Atsu. Before her eyes, her entire family was slaughtered. The screams of people, the burning houses, and the childhood that turned into ashes. The ruthless leader of Yotei 6, Saito, hung Atsu with her father's sword on a ginkgo tree and set her on fire. Everyone believed Atsu was dead, but fate had written something else for her. Before dying, her mother had told her a story. The story of an Onryo, a spirit who roams the earth only to seek revenge. And that night, Atsu too became something more than human. A being burning in the fire of vengeance. Chapter 2. The Southward Road. Atsu ran towards the south. Hunger, loneliness and fear became her only companions. But fighting against all of them, she became harder and stronger. 16 years later, she returned home. Now she had only one purpose. Those who killed her family would die, one by one. She came to know that the Yotei 6 were behind it. Her first target was Snake, one of the cruelest warriors among them. Atsu found him. A fierce battle broke out. Snake stabbed her chest with his sword, but even with her last breath, Atsu killed him with her dagger. Covered in blood, standing at the edge of death, she survived again. And people began whispering, "She is no girl. She is the ghost." The Onryo. Chapter 3. The Blacksmith's Daughter. Atsu returned to her home, Enzo, a village built upon the Mount of Yotei. Now she had only one goal: revenge.
Her memories took her back to her brother Jubei, her mother Yone, and her father Kengo, a blacksmith who forged beautiful swords. Gathering her past, Atsu began her journey forward. She met people, collected information, and learned that a war was raging between the Matsumai clan and Saito. Saito was collecting horses for his army, but Atsu killed many of his men before they could reach him. The one she helped was her father's old friend. He gave her a horse named Shimaki, meaning tornado. The fight with Snake had taught her. Defeating the Yotei 6 would not be easy. She went to Master Hanbei, the dueling master. He trained her again and returned her father's sword, the same sword with which she had once been hung from the tree. But the fire inside her never stopped burning. She still cursed herself, because it was she who had unknowingly brought Saito to her home, and that mistake had cost her everything. Chapter 4. The Shadow and the Permit. Atsu kept moving forward. She met Chika, a woman connected to Saito's clan. Chika gave Atsu a stolen permit to enter the fortress. Atsu found Saito and attacked him, but Saito escaped. Seeing her sword, Saito recognized it. "This is the same sword. Your father's," he said. Atsu was now sure. Saito was the real demon. She ran, wounded but alive, as if some unseen power had saved her. At that very moment, the Matsumai clan attacked Saito's fortress. Hanbei rescued Atsu and took her away. Now Atsu realized this war was much bigger than she had imagined. Chapter 5. The Poison and the Wolf. Atsu went to Master Yoshida's dojo. He taught her the way of Odachi, the art of long blade swordsmanship. Yoshida told her,
Spider and Dragon have gone north for trade with the Russians, and Kitsune is hiding somewhere in the north. Atsu headed toward Teshio Ridge. To reach there, she had to cross the northern tip of the Nupur River, where Kitsune cultivated her poisons. On the way, she was with Murafiro when suddenly Kitsune attacked, wounding Atsu with a kunai. Just then, a wolf appeared and saved her. Atsu regained consciousness and continued her journey. She met Oyuki, who helped her track down Kitsune. Chapter 6: The Chains and the Truth. Atsu then met Hana and Master Inamoto, who taught her how to use the kusarigama, a deadly weapon blending agility and venom. Inamoto told her that his grandson had fallen into Kitsune's trap. In the desire to avenge his mother's death, he had turned against the world. Inamoto gave Atsu a mission: stop him, to save the innocent. Atsu accepted. Oyuki later told Atsu that she had found Kitsune's hideout, a forest where she cultivated poison. Atsu and Oyuki went there and faced Kitsune, but it wasn't the real one. It was Dojun, Oyuki's former disciple, who had changed after meeting Saito. Atsu then learned the truth. Oyuki had a hand in her family's destruction. Atsu fought her, but Oyuki said, "If you kill me, Saito will win." Atsu trembled with rage but spared her. Her goal was not yet complete. Oyuki began training Atsu as a shinobi, teaching her to resist poison and live within shadows. Atsu was no longer a warrior. She had become a shadow. Oyuki then revealed her own past, how she became Kitsune. Soon they discovered the real Kitsune was hiding in the caves behind Teshio Ridge. Atsu and Oyuki went there and finally killed Kitsune. Chapter 7: The Return of the Brother. Meanwhile, in fear, Saito's sons, Dragon and Spider, returned home.
They tried to speak to their father, but Saito's eyes were fixed elsewhere, on destroying the Matsumai clan. Atsu's next target was Oni. Oni had placed a bounty on Medgoro, and to find him, Atsu entered the fields of Ishikari. There she met Lord Kitamori of the Matsumai clan. Together, they fought Oni's forces. And then, a shocking truth emerged. Lord Kitamori was none other than Atsu's brother Jubei. He told her that a samurai had saved him and given him a place within the Matsumai clan. Duty had kept him from returning home. The two siblings were on different paths, one walking toward justice and the protection of the innocent, and the other burning in the fire of vengeance. They parted ways, but fate brought them together again. Jubei then returned to his clan, but Atsu's path was still far from over. Her next target was the bounty hunter Goro. Atsu and Jubei traced Goro's whereabouts. He was hiding in the village of Wami. They both arrived there and captured Goro. Atsu's intention was to deliver Goro directly to Oni, but Jubei wanted to hand him over to the Matsumai clan, so they could extract more information. Jubei promised Atsu that later he would give Goro to her, but the Matsumai clan did not allow it. Now Atsu devised a clever plan. She disguised Jubei as a fake prisoner and entered Oni's fortress. She told Oni that Jubei was the right hand of the Matsumai clan. Hearing this, Oni was impressed and offered Atsu gifts. Atsu's real goal was clear. When the time was right, she would rescue Jubei and kill Oni. But Jubei's first priority was to save the prisoners, and he kept saying to Atsu,
The safety of the innocent comes first. Atsu stopped him and said, "We will save them later. Right now, I must complete my mission." When the two entered Oni's chamber, he was already waiting for them. He threw Atsu to the ground, and the alarm rang through the whole castle. Now the two siblings had to flee using skill and fate. Jubei was angry, his anger directed at his sister. But deep down, he knew, if he had chosen the path of saving others, he would have lost Atsu. Atsu knew that Goro was the last link to reach Oni. The night was dark when she arrived at the Matsumai fortress, but before she could act, her brother Jubei stopped her. Before she could answer, Oni's soldiers stormed in, fire and screams everywhere. The fortress burned, walls collapsed. Oni's men destroyed everything. But fate played its game once more. Only 3 people survived: Atsu, Jubei, and Goro. Atsu and Jubei tracked Goro again. He had become a monk, praying at a temple in the northern edge of Wami. When Atsu and Jubei arrived, Goro told them, "There is an old mine beneath the fortress. That is your path. At the seashore, a hidden boat waits. It will take you there." That night, Atsu and Jubei boarded the boat. It slowly drifted toward the secret tunnel that would lead them directly inside Oni's fortress. Inside, there were many captives. Jubei said, "Free them first." Atsu nodded, but in her eyes there was only one face: Oni's. They freed as many prisoners as they could, but Atsu's path was different. She was going to avenge her father. Inside the fortress, Oni was waiting. "So, you are the girl." "I am not a demon. I am a warrior. I was meant for the battlefield. But my lord Saito chained me to this stone fortress. I only followed orders. Your father broke the rules. Do you think I enjoyed burning children?" Atsu's fists tightened. Pointing out another's mistakes does not erase your own. Their swords clashed. Sparks of fire flew with every strike. After a fierce battle, Atsu defeated Oni. Jubei arrived just in time, and together they struck as one. Oni fell to the ground. Atsu crossed Oni's name off her list. Another vengeance was complete. Jubei left to meet his commander, but his steps led him back to his old home. The same house, the same courtyard, the same ginkgo tree, under whose shade his childhood once laughed. Elsewhere, Lord Saito sat in his hall with his 2 sons, Spider and Dragon. Spider said coldly, "Father, Atsu has already killed many of our warriors." Dragon added, "She's no longer human. People call her Onryo, the vengeful ghost." Saito remained silent for a moment, then said, "One woman cannot destroy my empire. The real threat is the Matsumai clan." Chapter 8: The Daughter of Jubei. Beneath the old ginkgo tree, Jubei sat lost in his memories. That was where Oyuki found him. She told him everything, every secret, every sin that had led them here. Rage darkened Jubei's eyes. "So it was you," he said quietly. "You burned our home."
Oyuki bowed her head. "I made a terrible mistake. Now I want to set it right. Saito and his sons are gathering an army at Oshima Coast. They'll strike the Matsumai fortress soon." Jubei rose. "I will not stand with the men who murdered my family." He turned and walked away. Yet Atsu and Oyuki refused to stop. Together they journeyed toward Oshima, where Saito's army had already begun its assault. Among the smoke and screams, they found Kiku, Jubei's daughter, trapped amid the chaos. Atsu swore she would save her.
Through fire and blood, she fought her way to the girl and carried her out alive. Now the three were together at last: Jubei, Atsu, and Kiku. At the Matsumai fortress, peace briefly returned. Atsu and Kiku trained together in the courtyard, the sound of wooden swords echoing beneath the morning light. For the first time in years, Atsu felt something close to calm, a fleeting taste of life before vengeance. But it did not last. Commander Wada rushed in, breathless. "Dragon has seized our lighthouse," he said. The storm had begun again. Chapter 9: Fire and the Lighthouse. Atsu and Jubei reached there. Atsu fought Dragon in a fierce duel. She was about to kill him, but he escaped. Then the three, Atsu, Jubei, and Oyuki, made a plan. Spider was the weakest link. If they captured him, Saito and Dragon would be forced to come out. Spider was hiding in Lord Tamura's estate. Atsu and Oyuki went there, and secretly, Kiku followed them. That night, Spider staged a play, reenacting the burning of Atsu's family. Atsu's patience broke. She attacked and captured him. Seeing her, Oyuki and Jubei were silent. Atsu no longer looked human, but like the ghost of vengeance itself. Spider was to be executed publicly, but ships appeared at sea. It was a distraction. The real attack came from behind. Saito and Dragon had arrived. In the battle, Atsu faced Dragon again and killed him. The castle burned once more. Atsu found Kiku amidst the fire, but Jubei and Oyuki were missing. Spider fled, taking his brother's corpse to Saito.
Saito shouted in fury, "You turned victory into defeat!" Chapter 10: The Hunter's Path. Atsu took Kiku back to her old home in Enzo to keep her safe. Kiku cried, "Why weren't you with my father?" Atsu said softly, "Anger blinded me. But now, I will fix everything." She went to Hunter Hanbei, the man who had once trained her and returned her father's sword. "I need to find Spider," she said. Hanbei asked, "If your brother is dead, where will you go?" Atsu understood. Spider had once spoken of burying his family in the northern Tokachi Mountains. That was where she must go. Chapter 11: The Final Duel. There, she found Spider, standing beside his brother's grave. She asked about Jubei and Oyuki. Spider said, "I told father to kill them, but he didn't listen." Hope flickered in Atsu's heart. Maybe they were still alive. She pointed at another grave. Spider said, "That one belongs to Fumi. After your father left the Saito clan, she starved to death. She was just learning to walk." Atsu's eyes filled with tears. She whispered an apology. Their swords clashed once again. In the middle of battle, Atsu realized this revenge had no end. She wounded Spider and crossed his name off her list. There, she decided, this cycle of vengeance must end. Spider said, "I can take you where Jubei and Oyuki are imprisoned." He told her to meet him on the northern shore. Atsu returned and told Kiku that her father was alive. Kiku wept and apologized. Atsu smiled. "Now we will bring him back." Chapter 12: The Ghost of Enzo. Atsu and Spider met by the Nupur River. Far away, Saito's ruined Koga castle stood half collapsed, but still guarded.
Inside, Saito was interrogating Jubei.
"Where is your sister?" he asked. Jubei said nothing. Atsu climbed the mountain, entered the fortress, and freed him. She said, "I didn't come to fight. I came to save together." They searched for Oyuki. Oyuki told them, "Saito has gone where it all began." Atsu understood. Their home, Enzo, and there, Kiku was waiting. Chapter 13. The End of Fire. When they returned, Saito was already there, standing in the courtyard with Kiku. "If anyone interferes," he warned, "I will kill this child." Atsu accepted his condition. The final battle began. Saito was monstrously powerful. He wounded Atsu badly. As he raised his sword for the last strike, Jubei stepped in front, and together they struck him down. Saito fell. The cycle of vengeance was complete. But Jubei died in her arms. Atsu wept, whispering, "I will stay with Kiku. She will never be alone." Epilogue. The Quiet Flame. Enzo was no longer silent. Atsu and Kiku lived there together. Sometimes Atsu told her stories about her father, the blacksmith who forged beautiful blades, about her brother, who once protected her, and about the fire that had changed everything. Now no vengeance remained, only a fragile peace. And within her heart, a promise. Kiku's childhood will not grow in ashes. It will grow in life. And that was the full story of the Ghost of Yotei, a journey of vengeance, sorrow, and the haunting spirit that refuses to fade. Every legend hides a truth, and every ghost has a purpose. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a like to support the channel, subscribe for more deep story breakdowns like this, and share this video with your friends who love dark tales and mysteries. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What part of Yotei's story hit you the most? I'd love to hear your theories. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay haunted.